So how does a third term of Donald Trump sound? That's the subject of today's video. And in fact, this is a representative in the Congress is proposing that idea. Representative Annie Ogle says, I just introduced a resolution to amend the 22nd Amendment to allow President Trump to seek a third term. Read the details. So this is a Tennessee 5th Congressional District proposing letting Trump go for third term. See here, Representative Ogles. Andy Ogles is his name, proposes amending the 22nd Amendment to allow Trump to serve a third term, give President Trump a third term. And basically what's going on here, and we'll read it here, it says, President Trump's decisive leadership stands in stark contrast to the chaos, suffering, and economic decline Americans have endured over the past 4 years. He has proven himself to be the only figure in modern history capable of reversing our nation's decay and restoring America to greatness, and he must be given the time necessary to accomplish that goal. To that end, I am proposing an amendment to the Constitution to revise limitations imposed by the 22nd Amendment on presidential terms. This amendment would allow President Trump to serve 3 terms, and ensuring that we can sustain the bold leadership our nation so desperately needs. And that's according to Congressman Ogles. It's funny because the first thing my wife said when I mentioned this to her, hey, look at this guy's trying to propose this change to the Constitution. She's like, does that mean Obama can run again? The answer would be yes. Yes, it would be. And if you want a blockbuster election going into next round, how would you feel about Obama, right, going for a third term versus Trump third term? That would be one for the history books. I mean, why not? So that's the one thing I don't think the Republicans have necessarily thought through. And that's a question, would that even be close? I think Obama would crush him, in my opinion, but I mean, you never know. All bets could be off. Okay, so how would you change the Constitution? Because we don't talk about this very often. It's you need 2/3 of both House and the Senate. Then you got to get the states to go along with that, and that's like 3/4 of the states. So I think it'd be pretty tough, but if you floated it around, be like, okay, for those of you who want a third term of Trump, you can go with that. For those of you who want a third term of Obama, I mean, we can go with that. So I'm actually not against third terms. I think 2 is enough, to be perfectly frank, but I'm not like against it. Hey, if someone is able to win 3 times in a row, and I'll be curious if you guys are like, Chris, you're just speaking craziness. No one should ever have 3 terms. I'm just saying, I think the odds would be slim that this gets through anyway. So it's probably not going to happen. But hey, I actually didn't think people would vote for Trump, and they did. So you never know in this day and age. Regarding whether or not Obama would be the best person, I was just looking at this. This is on YouGov. It's kind of funny to check most popular Democrats. So he ranks Obama as being the most popular, 61% popularity according to this. You got fame and popularity. The fame is like, I think, just how famous you are. Popular, how they define it here, is percentage of people who have a positive opinion of a Democrat. So I'd be curious if you guys would agree with this list that Barack Obama leads the chart or leads the Democrats as being the most popular. Just for comparison on the Republican side, at 62% popularity is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now that would actually be an interesting one as well, and I wanted to bring that up. So Arnie was born abroad. I think he's Austrian. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. So he would not be eligible to be president, but we could certainly change the laws for that. And then theoretically, if you were to change the laws for, with someone like an Arnold to run for president, you know who that leaves open the door to? Yes, you guessed it, Elon Musk, and another person you haven't thought about, me. Then I could actually run. So me personally, I'm not against changing it to, in certain circumstances, like my situation, I grew up in USA. It's pretty much the only country that, I ever knew since from a kid growing up. And then it took a long time until I got older to move abroad. I actually write about this stuff in my book. It's called Positive Angle. You can check it out. It's on Amazon. But for many people like myself, right, if you grew up in USA, it's always kind of odd that you can't run for president. That's just my opinion, of course, and you may have a different opinion than me. Arnold or like a Musk, I think if you were to ever change that law to say you can run if you're a naturalized citizen, you'd have to make it to where you've lived in the USA for X amount of years or something of that nature. And I haven't thought about that deeply how you would do it, but I know, like, say in my situation, I'm American. Whereas an Arnold or Musk, they came to the USA much, much later in their lives. Arnold, he must have been like in his, what is it? He must have been in the early 20s. I did have to look that one up. But I know Musk came when in basically his college years. Regarding, next time around, and it's kind of a funny thing with the third term, right? Who else would run? Bernie's too old. I just don't think Kamala Harris is going to get back into politics. She might. You never know. You never know. I mean, Trump got back in. Why not? Would Waltz ever run for president? You never know. Bill Clinton, he's pretty old. Biden's done. He's not going to do it again. Hillary, you never know with Hillary. Yeah, I think she's done because I think, but who knows? You never know. Madeleine Albright, she's not going to run. Elizabeth Warren's a bit old. I mean, a lot of these people are pretty old. AOC, I don't think she's gonna do it quite yet. Pete, I don't think so. Kerry, I'm just looking at popular Democrats here. Adam Schiff, I don't think he'd run. Al Franken could run, but I don't think he'd be a very popular candidate. Cory Booker would run again. I think he'd probably be for it. Hakeem might be an interesting one. Looking at this list, I could see Hakeem. Gavin, I would agree with, and Gretchen. So these might be your top contenders next time around. Hakeem, Gavin, Gretchen, Whitmer. I think all three of these would probably be pretty good. I would say I think she might be the favorite in my opinion. People are saying more pointing to the Gavin. I don't know. Well, the interesting thing would be even if she's be a great candidate, there's still going to be some backlash of Kamala Harris lost. She's a woman. Well, Americans never vote for a woman, right? There's a possibility of that. But next time around, you never know. Al Green, I'm not familiar with. Douglas Emhoff. Oh, that should be Kamala's husband, correct? It should be. Amy Klobuchar. She may run again, actually. Raphael Warnock. I'm not as familiar with him. Neither is Josh Shapiro. I know. I think he's a governor, I believe. Andrew Yang. Theoretically, he could run. Tulsi in the Democrat spot's kind of strange. She's not a Democrat anymore. Beto might be an interesting candidate, actually. Michael Bloomberg might run. And then you get down to here, and I think you start to get, further down the list. That's probably not, we just know who these people are, but maybe not necessarily that popular. And also too, you're getting, below the 50% mark. I was just kind of going through. On the Republican side, right, if you're thinking, okay, forget about Trump, let's talk about other people. JD Vance. So this is an interesting one to where theoretically Vance becomes president. Donald Trump is vice president, I guess. Theoretically, I'm just saying if they run a joint ticket. Vance resigns and then Trump could be president again. That's if they don't do the third term thing. Another issue with Trump is they could get a kid of Trump to run, be it Eric, Ivanka, or Donnie. Who knows, even Barron, right, will run. And then Trump does the puppet behind the strings. And then Musk controls Trump, that kind of stuff. So I think there's a scenario for that kind of stuff if you're curious. W. Bush is done. Ted Cruz, he could make a run. He could make a run. I don't know. He says number 5 here on the list. I don't know how Republicans feel. Cruz is a strange guy. Republicans love DeSantis. Sarah Palin's a bit old. Bob Dole, is he still alive? And that's a serious question. I'm actually not sure. I remember the Bob Dole commercials when I was a kid. It was just funny. They'd always make fun of the Saturday Night Live. I'm Bob Dole, and I endorse this man. Carrie Lake, Henry Kissinger, Rand Paul, Hegseth, Mike Johnson. God, who else has the Republicans got over there? Tim Scott's not that great. Tom Homan. Let's see. Yeah, Hicks is terrible. Barry Goldwater. This is like Paul Ryan's not going to run. Hey, you got Vivek. Why not? He's going for a governor of Ohio. Mike Huckabee could try. He should be getting old, shouldn't he? Yeah. I'm literally just looking. Okay, maybe Marco Rubio would run again. You never know. Tom Cotton. Not familiar with him. I know the name. I'm just not familiar with. Rick Perry's a bit old. Nikki again. She runs. Matt Gaetz. It's kind of funny when you look at these lists. It is tough to find candidates for president. I actually didn't mind John Kasich when he ran against Trump when he ran. He was more of a moderate. Michael Steele. He's just a TV host these days. Jared Kushner, forget that. You know what? I take that back. If you want a Trump, but not a Trump, because this is Ivanka's husband. Why not? Lamar Alexander, Jim Jordan. He's kind of a clown. He's a guy. He jumps around all the time. Bobby Jindal's a governor, right? Why not? Lauren's a bit crazy. Jeb could try. He missed his chance before. I think he's too old though, probably. This might be the Republican favorite. He's pretty far down the list though. Glenn Youngkin. I think Republicans really like him. And it's kind of funny to go through these things. I'm seeing if there's any other candidates, and you guys can type in the comments if there's any candidates. And I do this means in all sincerity when I look at both lists, either Republican or Democrat, or even for example independents. You just want good candidates. It'd be nice to have decent choices on both sides or even third sides. The independents like a Jill Stein or RFK, Nicole Shannon, is it Shanahan? They didn't get that many votes on the third parties. Like Cornel West is not really a serious candidate. I mean, he's a professor, and then he even made a rap album. True story. I think he's at Princeton now. He might be at Harvard or Princeton. He moves around. Who else we got here? And actually, it's funny because I actually know someone who knows Cornell, and they would joke about the rap album because it wasn't that popular in the department that he was in. It was kind of a funny thing. He's a professor, so when you become tenure, you can kind of do whatever you want. And then he actually did an interesting thing where he got a bunch of professors to go with him. That was years ago already. Yeah, I told you that maybe it's going to be like a Glenn Youngkin against like one of the governors of the on the Democrat side, maybe like a Gavin or Gretchen versus maybe Glenn on the top, and maybe DeSantis runs again. That's kind of like, in my opinion, the front runners. The whole third term of Donald Trump. Oh no, you could argue Vance. You could argue Vance. I'll say that you could argue Vance. I guess it depends whoever Musk picks, and that's a long time from now, 4 years from now. But I was going to say, regarding the third term of Trump, I don't think the amendment's going to go through. They are going to propose it. I just think it's such a long shot at this point. Already we talked about today where the judge said, hey, this is unconstitutional, blatantly unconstitutional what you're trying to do. But I did want to go over this stuff because it is a real thing that this representative is putting forward. You knew they were going to try to do something like this. And we'll see how this carries. So please share your thoughts. I don't want to just talk about the third term of whether or not that would happen with Trump. I think the question would be, I think Obama would crush him, in my opinion. But I'd like to hear some thoughts if you think maybe Trump would have a chance against Obama. And then after that, who are we looking for this next cycle? If you want to talk about a little bit of more positive stuff, I'd like to hear your thoughts or your best picks for, what are we? That should be 2028. Yeah. So thanks again for watching, everyone. And I'll catch you on the next video.